So the Adventures of Dino Riki, this is an overhead shooter. This is a game created by Hudson Soft. They also created Milan Secret Castle and I think Hudson's Adventure Island. Well, I guess, of course, they created that. It's in the title. And Bomberman, and those games all came out around the same time in Japan, so you're looking at around 1985, 1986. Dino Riki came out in 1987, so very, very close to, I think, the point of release of Hudson's Adventure Island, if I'm not mistaken. I might be. It's an overhead shooter, so this is going to be very, if you've ever played like 1942, 1943, or, you know, even to a lesser extent, Galaga or Space Invaders, it's pretty much the same idea. You know, the whole object of the game is to be able to dodge on-screen enemies and the projectiles that they throw out there. So basically, the main difference between Dino Riki and some of those other games is the fact that Dino Riki, it does have platforming elements in it. So not only are you dodging enemies on the screen and dodging the bullets that they send at you, you also have to jump, which, to be completely honest, really kind of takes some of the fun out of the game. Dino Riki, just in and of itself, is a very, very difficult game. But once you add the platforming elements in there, it just increases the difficulty like tenfold. This is probably one of the hardest games I've ever played. I've never really gotten that far in it. I think the furthest I ever got in this game was probably just a stage, World 2. So that's not very, very far. You know, I don't know if it's so much because it's the enemies or, you know, just like how much stuff is on the screen, and, you know, playing this type of game on the Nintendo is difficult in and of itself because of the fact that when too much stuff shows up on screen, the game does have the tendency to slow down a bit. You won't really see that too much here in the first stage, but in some of the later stages when everything just gets really, really crazy, there's definitely some major slowdown. So basically, Dino Riki can jump, shoot weapons. Basically, he has rocks initially. By getting various power-ups, you know, he can upgrade his weapons to, you know, axes, to boomerangs, or in this case, torches, as you can see here. So he can also pick up other power-ups that include, you know, speed boosts, which is kind of a double-edged sword in this game. I mean, I guess they consider it a power-up, but it's more kind of a handicap, more so than anything else. You know, I kind of view it sort of like the speed shoes in Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, the game in and of itself moves fast enough without the added difficulty of moving faster. Especially, I guess the thing that doesn't really make sense about that power-up most of the time is the fact that when you are in a position where you need to fine-tune your jumping, and your character doesn't really control all that well to begin with, that just seems to, I don't know, it just doesn't really add anything to it. Instead, it just becomes much more frustrating because you have, since you didn't have very good control of your character at the beginning, suddenly now you have even less control. So that makes elements like jumping on those lily pads, as you saw just a moment ago, that much more difficult. Aside from the speed boost, you can also get wings that will allow you to fly. I don't really get those in this playthrough, so I don't think we'll be able to see those. but it would allow you to, if I had them, I'd be able to jump over these stupid lily pads, which, I'm sorry, it just make me so angry. It's one of the reasons why I can't stick with this game for very long. So to start, you start the game just throwing rocks. They have a very limited range and power. You can upgrade to axes, then you can upgrade to boomerangs, increasing the range and the spread of your shot, just like we were talking about before. And then finally getting, the rapid fire torches that really cover a lot of the screen. So there are actually 4 worlds in this game, so the game is relatively short, or can be relatively short if you're good at it. But if you're not, the game is a bit of a struggle. So the 3 different types of worlds, aside from stage 1 here, there's a ruined city, which I believe is world 3. I think worlds 1 and 2 is just land, like we're looking at now, and I believe world 4 is sort of a mountain area. So there are 3. Let's see. There's probably about 3 different points in this game. Like a stage 1, a stage 2, a stage 3, or world 1, world 1, 2, world 1, 3. Those will all have checkpoints. Stage 4, however, does not have any. So I do believe you have to go through that entire stage in one shot. Dino Riki is not a game that I would consider to be a classic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure it does have its fans out there, but to me, just the fact that you're constantly moving, the fact that the character doesn't control very well, this makes it a really frustrating experience. I personally would not recommend this game to. I wouldn't recommend this game to anybody who's actually, either new to new to the Nintendo, or just somebody who's looking to revisit some old games. This is definitely a game I would suggest definitely staying away from. It's not very good. It's kind of, I think it would end up being more an exercise in frustration and, and I mean, I guess ultimately, video games are supposed to be fun, so where the hell's the fun in constantly struggling to, fine-tune your jumps over lily pads that appear, disappear when your character is just constantly moving forward. So this game I would definitely advise, skipping.